and his wife, they had another set of rules that they abided by. Now, she did not work at all. She went out and did the work and came home, brought his check. She paid the bills. She did all the shopping. She did all the cleaning. She did all the cooking, and she was happy. However, with my mother going out, and she was an entrepreneur as well, she owned a cleaning business. And so from the work ethic, as far as getting up, going to work, being professional, and doing all those things that you needed to do to be successful in the workplace, I got that from my mother.
Got it.
But watching my aunt and my uncle manage a household successfully, I've seen both sides of it up close and personal.
Okay. All right.
You know, this is also going to fall into a personal thing also, because the woman coming out of the home, you actually, in the United States, you trace that back to World War I. And then they became very prominent in World War II. Right. When the sisters got out of the house and they had to go into the workforce because the men were in the military overseas and whatever else, they were the one building the tanks, building the planes, working the factories, doing everything that before that they said they couldn't do because there was a stigma placed on it. This is work that's too complicated for a woman. A woman can't handle this. And now she went out there, she did the work just as well because she not only built the plane, she flew the plane over there to the man. And then as soon as the war was over with and they came back home, go back to your kitchen. And she wasn't doing it.
And that's, we did a whole, half hour on that.
Yes.
Rosie the Riveter, we call it.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I worked for one of those.
Yeah. Thank you, Avasnana. We love you, girl.
She had that. She reverted back into that whole thing of a woman shouldn't be doing
bye-bye.
this.
Bye, baby.
Calling now.
Thank you, girl. That's Avasnana, y'all. Now we know where the name come from.
I thought she was doing Nana.
Nana. Melanie.
Yes.
Where did the whole thing about I don't need a man come from? Are you guilty of that in some time in your life?
No.
No, you're good. But you heard that, right?
I hear it all the time.
Where did it come from? Are men responsible for that? Is it because of our ignorance?
I don't know who was responsible for it.
Okay.
It could be on both hands. You know, I'm such a strong woman, hear me roar, that I don't need you to help me do, but when the man walks out of the relationship, then the woman falls on, well, I don't need you. You've left. Sure. So I've got to make it on my own, and now I'm doing it on my own. Mm-hmm. So what do I need you for?
I see. Yeah. So once she gets out of his grip and his umbrella, and then she begins to realize she can do this on her own.
Correct.
She begins to realize, I'm empowered. I don't need him, other than just for having babies. Other than that, I don't really need him. I think it's the same thing that when a dog bites you, a stray dog bites you, okay, and then he draw blood. When they catch the dog, they have to put the dog down
because once he gets a taste for that blood,
he gets a taste of that blood, and then he goes after someone else because he likes to taste the blood. And I think that happened also with the whole male-female thing, where the women
feminine awakening. Yeah,
it wasn't awakening. It was an empowerment. It goes back to World War I and II, though, because Rosie the Riveter, once she realized her worth, you're like, well, I know my man's over there, yada yada yada. And then you heard stories about the man over there overseas, and then he's getting these what they call Dear John letters. Yeah. And the Dear John letter says, don't come home because Bob, who couldn't go off the war, he taking care of war at home.
Yeah.
Well, in the military,
war,
he had his name was Jody.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Ain't no sense in going home. Jody got your girl and gone.
Yeah. Now we said Claire Huxtable, which was a very powerful woman. And she was very balanced.
Yes, she was.
Extremely balanced with both her husband and her children. Okay.
Yes. Her power was very well recognized and revered by the husband.
Absolutely.
But she also didn't emasculate her husband.
That's good. That's perfect. That's a perfect word.
Man. Cliff seemed kind of like a bit of a buffoon that she tolerated.
Well, what show are you watching?
You man,
every time he tried to go fix something, she would go in, then that was like, even with
you're looking at it through the lens of you being talented with a hammer.
No, I'm looking at a trend that came up around that time to where the husbands were the women were the smart one in the house, the flip side from Father's Knows Best. And it turned all the way around to where Mama ran the house, Daddy was just tolerated. You make him feel like he's this, that, and the other, and so forth and so on. But reality, you know what's going on. And there was a few episodes where Claire would do that with the children.
Well, it's amazing how perspective is so broad.
It is.
Because how I saw that was his skill set was not, though he would have loved it to have been a handyman, his skill set was medical, surgeon, OBGYN. His tools were different. Mm-hmm. I mean, he had to work with a far more valuable product. Yeah. He got to look at something that, we wish to look at. He looked at it every day.
You know what? Actually, knowing some guys like that, they go like,
So anyway.
Too much of a good thing.
Well, that's with anything in excess. But you look, I mean, he was far from a buffoon.
Sure.
I mean, and there was very few shows where they showed him doing that. I mean, he was.
I'm gonna get you a list.
He was more reverential to the power of his wife.
Yep.
Which was the purpose of the show, was to empower the black professional woman, as well as be a strong, educated, leading father. Because he was a father. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But he also knew that the black woman had to be heard, so he knew how to. And I love the episode when he was training his son-in-law to be. I love that episode when he would show him to throw the hands up. Mm-hmm. When he would when he gets Elvin, just throw your hands
quit.
up, just stop, because that's a fight will never end. So don't start it. Now, if you call that a buffoon, I call that a Solomon wisdom.
Actually,
I call that wise.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm serious. There's a whole thing that was running from that time. Actually, it started in the 70s, and it ran up through there, and this show bit into that also. But that's going on to something else.
Well, I will say this, though. There is a
list.
lost art. There is a lost art with men being able to fix things themselves.
Correct.
But, but that was only a small thing. But that was the whole thing. Even when it goes to cooking, if there's anything else like Dad, and it's like, Mom, Dad is trying. It's like, oh, Lord. It was like a code.
Dad's in the kitchen again.
Right. Yeah. Whatever he was doing, he was like over the top. But I understand this is also a comedy.
Sure.
So, that was satire that had to be fit into it also.
I got another woman here who's going to kind of break the ice because, it's 3-1 right now.
Yeah.
I
like that one.
I want to hear from Lisa. Get over here. Stop acting like you. What they say?
Lisa.
What's that hair club from in? I'm not only a.
But you got to stay.
I'm not only owner, but I'm also a client.
Right.
Lisa, you got something to say about this?
Please, Lisa.
Now this is radio. You can't afford dead air.
No, not about the husband, about the topic.
Women being homemakers or professionals.
Yeah. Okay.
It's her place in the bedroom and the kitchen only.
Mm-hmm. Come on now. This ain't a 3-hour show.
A woman's place is wherever she desires for it to be, whether if it be in the workplace or whether if it be a homemaker.
Okay.
She should do what makes her happy. I don't think it should be predicated upon society's perception of what a woman's role should be.
Yeah.
Your role, to me, those roles are individualized. Mm-hmm. It should be your own idiosyncrasy to establish who you are as a person, and you walk in the authority of who you are as an individual and what works in your household with you and your husband.
Yeah.
And that's my take on it.
That's good. That's good.
I like that take.
Hey,
I like it too,
man. I like that.
That's good. Because again, I can only go to my mom who raised 9 children, successfully raised them. My father went out and he hustled, but you best believe my father made sure that if in case of his demise, that mom was going to be taken care of and those 9 kids.
Mama don't take no mess.
Yeah. Now my mom did work a little bit. She worked in the 60s and the 70s, and then she quit and went full-time homemaker. And to this day, she is revered as one of the great women, and especially around in the religious circle, as raising 7 boys and 2 girls who all of us are doing something in America successfully. Mm-hmm. And they always say that woman right there did that. But what we want to do is, why don't we do this? And I know that we upstairs, but I need you to go to Proverbs 31.
Proverbs 31.
Yeah. D, I think you got to readjust Alvin because he's already a boom of a man. So
I'm a baby boomer.
He's a baby boomer. Ancient Egypt. In ancient Egypt, women had a great deal of freedom. They could come and go as they pleased. They could own property. They could sign contracts. So working didn't just start in World War II for women. In the Old Testament, in Israel, in ancient Israel, some women were business women, and where you're going to go right now. Women jobs in ancient Greece. In a rich family, the wife was expected to run the home and sometimes to manage the finances. However, rich women would normally stay indoors and send slaves to do the shopping. Poor women, of course, had no choice. Jobs in Rome. Roman women were allowed to own and inherit property, and some ran businesses. Okay, jobs in the Middle Ages. Saxon women were allowed to own and inherit property and to make contracts. Most Saxon women that's Anglo-Saxon, y'all. For those of you who don't know not the saxophone playing women. Most Saxon women had to work spinning and weaving, preparing food and drink.
Nothing wrong with a saxophone playing woman.
Nothing wrong with it. Women,
she blows.
Women jobs in 16th century and 17th century. In the 16th, 17th century, the professions were teachers, lawyers, doctors, on and on. Okay, so these women worked throughout the 18th century, the 19th century, and it wasn't until we got to World War II where we began to demean a lot of the women, even though they didn't have the right to vote. A lot of them still were working around the world. This was America who kind of enslaved the woman in a sense.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. And so our freedom really cost us something. Listen, we're getting ready to
bound us up.
Yeah, it does. It does. We're going to a break right quick, and we've got another 30 minutes to catch up to our lives. Again, I like what they did to the place up here.
Yeah,
it looks wonderful. Yeah, it looks it's bright and nice and shiny. So when we go back to the dungeon, we can say, "I knew you win, Alvin. I knew you win."
Heaven must be like this. Must be like this.
Y'all hang on. The UBM Talk. Y'all just got a discovery of the Sir Walter Jones Show.
Come on down.
Yeah, come on downstairs. We'll feed you just right. This is the Sir Walter Jones
Bring your saxophone, ladies.
Turn his mic down.
Hello, this is Leon Finney, your host of Another Perspective on UrbanBroadcastMedia.com. We are the voice of Black America. Join me and my guests every Saturday from 4 to 5 p.m. as we discuss the issues that impact Black America. Tune in to UBM Talk on UrbanBroadcastMedia.com, the simulcast on our affiliate station WBON 1690 AM. That's Another Perspective every Saturday from 4 to 5 p.m. And you can run and tell that.
A Vibrant Mix is back with a new format.
Same informative and vibrant topics.
And a new co-host.
Yep, we heard you. And Cousin Fred is on permanently.
Hey, this is Fred. Join us every Friday from noon until 1. Same great conversation, same vibrant mix.
A Vibrant Mix with Tasha
and Tamiko
and Fred.
Right here on UrbanBroadcastMedia.com.
Lord, how did I get in between T and T?
Watch out, Fred. We're explosive.
After weeks of speculation on Wall Street, the markets are rejoicing. A company is taking over.
Is that right?
Not this company. Not this company either. It's Three's Company.
On the Thrill side, man. I can't wait for the action tonight.
How you talking, man? Because we need everybody we can get.
Right on. It's the new Three's Company with Rob Lee,
LB Sweet, and Tina Gray. Friday from 6 to 8 p.m.
Only on UrbanBroadcastMedia.com.
I'm supposed to say .com. Ooh.
It's UBM Talk on UrbanBroadcastMedia.com. Call us at 312-754-4333 and get in on the conversation.
On the Sir Walter Jones Show, right here on UBM Praise.
Politics, doctrine, current events. Let's meet at the Controversy Corner on the Sir Walter Jones Show here on UBM Praise. made